Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to XRP. Once again, thank you for support. Okay, big CoinsKid crew. So the market is getting a little bit fearful again, isn't it? We are starting to see a buy warning kicking in on the micro time frame. We are starting to see 30% of the market under the water right there with a buy warning. Okay, so it's only a few weeks ago that this is in the sell zone, and I'll relay that to the CoinsKid crew. I did make a tweet way back when we're looking for a triple bearish divergence on the micro greed, and we've seen exactly that. So if we zoom out, I've been away on holiday for a little bit, but we've seen higher highs in the Bitcoin price action, but we've seen lower highs in the micro fear and greed index. Look at that. So we saw, I think it was 93, then 88, and then 80, and we've been coming down ever since. Pretty much XRP as well. Okay, but right now I think XRP, and there's no bias on this channel, I think we're missing a final fifth wave here for XRP, and I'm looking at a key chart that gives us a clue that that final fifth wave will come. It's not quite putting the signal just yet, but it is a really important signal that we've got to pay attention to, because you know it's one of the key charts I've been looking at with yourselves for a very long time. For those people that have been with the channel, you know, all these years, they will know I like to look at the king of risk, which is the S&P 500. We'll take a quick look at that before we do dive into the XRP chart right now. Okay, so looking at the S&P 500, we are seeing nice data here from the S&P 500. The closes above the 20-week EMA is really important, possibly an ascending triangle. Now this is the weekly time frame, getting some kind of compression pattern here. If this coils up and breaks out, then you know I think the breakout will be a clue that XRP will eventually play catch up, because you know we've been here a million times. You know, I've always looked at this chart with you way back here. I think it was in January of 2024, and just this breakout in January of 2023. You know, these were major clues in these particular charts that eventually XRP would play catch up, and you would see that big liquidity move into XRP. And if we drop the XRP chart in, you know, at the time it wasn't doing much. A lot of people were trolling the channel and things like that, but like I said to you, look at that, it's breaking out just there, and XRP is beginning its momentum to the upside. This started to correct, XRP started that correction, going sideways. Oh no, it's going to zero, but this thing was breaking out. This thing is beautifully coming up the stairs, where eventually, where it began that correction late last year, this is where XRP absolutely bolted. So this is why I think there's confidence in this particular chart, and this is why we need to pay attention to it, that if we start to see this breaking out and XRP is just crabbing, going sideways and not doing anything, I think we've got a clue that, you know, eventually we play catch up where liquidity flows into XRP. The minnows of risk, because this is the king of risk. Okay, this is your big daddy basically. So there's a possibility we've got the V-shaped recovery holding a 20, and then we trend up. V-shaped recovery holding a 20, and then we trend up. So in time, if this chart starts to break down, and obviously I think XRP will break down with that. Equally, there's a clue in a crystal ball indicator I create for the CoinsKid crew, just based on M2 global money supply. You can clearly see liquidity left the market. It was quite a substantial pullback, and then in 2022 this is pulling back as well. This bottom down here took off, came up into space. Look at that, went sideways, broke out again, goes sideways, pretty much goes sideways, took off into space again, been correcting since late 2024, taking off into space again, and right now this is trying to take off into space again. So there's no bias, but you know, it looks as though liquidity is filtering down into risk. The king of risk is giving us a clue, but we've not quite seen that all-time high break just yet. So if over the next few weeks we do start to see the S&P 500 take out its all-time high, which is roughly 2.8% weight, amazing. We've got a clue that, you know, XRP I think will eventually play catch up, and we'll start to see that range break in XRP. So let's dive into the XRP chart right now, but keep an eye on the S&P 500. If it starts to take out the all-time high, you've got a major clue that, you know, basically what you were doing in January 2024 and this breakout here in January 2023, it's a clue that XRP will eventually play catch up. As this thing cools off, XRP plays catch up. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see. Okay, so for anyone paying attention to my recent XRP video, I did say to you I expect a resistance level. Just there's a lot of confluence as we roll into the end of May into June. We've got a pullback in the crystal ball basically, just there for XRP, and you know, boom, look at that, we're pulling back, and from that level of resistance at $2.59, XRP's pulled back roughly 15% at the moment. It's wicked down roughly almost 20%, so it's having a correction basically. So whether or not this correction's over, time will tell, but you know, possibly some kind of A into a B into a C, coming back to where it came from. So what you can do, drop the fib from the top to the bottom, and right now you are retracing, so you can clearly see you've come down to the 382. Now XRP loves the 786, okay, loves it. So it may be a case that that is exactly where we're looking for in a potential wave 2 correction, where you've got some kind of impulsive wave 1 into a corrective wave 2 that comes back, and then boom, you break out like this. So one of the key things I'm looking at right now is really simple. If we start to see this white line being taken out and this yellow line at $2.59, I think we've got an impulsive move and new all-time highs here for XRP to roughly this neckline here, around about $4.13. okay, but we have to hold this head in any retracements that we're going through, any pullbacks, any corrections. This is your bull market support right now for this next impulsive move to the upside, because my primary at the moment, okay, and I've gone through this with you, is the fact that liquidity left the market late last year, not here. This is a bull trap, and what we've got is an A into a B into potential C, or some kind of WXY correction, and it's a complex three wave correction. 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down, possibly completed in April. And then right there, right on cue, we've got liquidity breaking out to the upside. But what goes up must come down, and I'm always looking for resistance and support. Like I said to you, I expect a level resistance to this neckline. We've got rejected there, and we've got rejected right on cue. Okay, just before one only, I made this video for you, and boom, we've come down like this. So if we are about to create the symmetry of a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, we should come back here for XRP to roughly at least that same level, which is this God candle breakout here that we experienced in April, which is roughly around about $1.90, isn't it? So if we come back, boom, tag that 786 fib and then go again, it's still a higher low where you've got an impulsive move, corrective move, making the higher low structure, and then boom, we break out and we're following the crystal ball. So right on cue, we've got this beautiful drawdown in the crystal ball, and right on cue, we're getting this drawdown for XRP. okay, so all eyes on the charts. If we start to take out this neckline where we keep getting rejected, I think we've got an impulsive move to the upside. So I'll keep you updated as best I can, but currently I have bids around about $1.87, I think it is, on that God candle back test. I think I've looked at that with you before on the 4-hourly time frame. If we zoom to the left, we've got this God candle breakout just there in April, around about $1.87.7, just there. Look at that, beautiful. Where we may be looking for some kind of ABC back into that before breakout there for XRP. So I'll keep you updated as best I can, but so far so good. We're doing incredibly well in XRP. For anyone paying attention, we've been buying the blood, fear and depression for many years, but one thing we have to see is the S&P 500 break out and give us that clue. Okay, XRP is going to break bull, and these are your levels up above. Okay, this is my minimal target on the next impulsive move. If we can hold this head at roughly $1.64, then I think we're going to see at least $4.13 in the next impulsive move up here for XRP. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned, and keep updated as best I can. Okay, bye bye.